everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you are doing so very well. Today I'm here to talk to you about all the books that I read in the month of June. But first, Kindness Challenge, yeah! Last month's Kindness Challenge was to donate $10 to the charity of your choice. I said I was donating $25 to I Pour Life, the nonprofit that I work for, and I did that, and it was awesome. I feel like giving back is something I want to do more often and make a priority, so I really just gotta sit down and put it in my budget and give more money to more nonprofits. I'm pretty sure I could forego buying a book or two a month and giving that money to people who need it. If you did the Kindness Challenge last month, let me know down below. Let me know where you donated to so that I can check out some new nonprofits. Heyo, heyo. For this month's Kindness Challenge, I am going to challenge you to give one of your books away. I know, there's a lot of precious books on the shelf, but I'm sure there are one or two that you A, have more than one copy of, or B, could part with. And I know there are so many people that need and want books but aren't gonna go out and buy them or can't buy them. If you can't think of anybody to give a book to, then check and see if you have a little free library in your town and just put one of your books in there. Give it a new home, give it new life. Now you have some that you've been meaning to get rid of and just haven't yet. This is the opportunity to do that. Let's get some of our books off our TBR pile and give them to people who will read them. Yes, yes. Also, just a reminder, I am doing a read-along of the Alexander Hamilton biography over the course of this month and longer if you really need to. The hashtag is read it all away. I am about to start it, so let's get on this. Let's do this thing. We can read it together, yes. And now on to the books. Last month I read 6 books, which I think is pretty fantastic considering a week of that I was at VidCon and was not reading at all. No time for reading at VidCon. As per usual, I'm going to be going in order of my least liked to most liked books. Here we go. First up is Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins. This is the third and final book in the Rebel Belle trilogy. If you didn't know, Rebel Belle is about a girl named Harper, and during a homecoming dance she stumbles upon this fight and then is given these paladin powers to protect the Oracle, who turns out to be David, who has been like her arch enemy her entire life. Overall, I liked this, but I didn't love it. I really loved seeing all the characters again, but it just didn't really tie up the story very nicely. The first book was incredible, blew me out of the water. The second book was like, eh, and this book was like, eh. I didn't hate it, and I don't think it was a terrible, terrible, awful close to the series, but it just was kind of boring, and it just didn't have the magic that the first book did. I would definitely recommend that you read Rebel Belle, and if you really want to know what happens in the rest of the story, read the other 2 books because they are pretty short and easy to get through, but it's not an amazing trilogy overall. I would also definitely recommend the audiobooks of these because the southern accents are so great. They're just perfectly done, and I really enjoyed listening to it. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, we've got Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This is about a boy named Tristan. He is in love with this girl named Victoria. Together they see a star fall, and he's like, if you give me anything that I want, including your hand in marriage, I'll go get that star for you. And she's like, okay. That sends him on this journey across the wall into the fairy world, goes on a lot of adventures to get this star for Victoria. I have been meaning to read this forever. I tried buddy reading it, I tried a lot of different things, and I just never got through it, but this time around I listened to the audiobook and I enjoyed it. I had the misfortune of watching the movie before I read this book, and I gotta say, I think I like the movie more. While I did enjoy the book a lot, I really love the movie, guys. I love it so much. I also feel like the story was a little bit more engaging in the movie, and it was funny, and it was just super well done. I really try not to compare books versus movies, but this time I was just picturing everything in my head, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I like the movie so much. And while this was really good and really well written and really interesting, it just doesn't live up to the movie. Regardless, Neil Gaiman is still a master storyteller. This is kind of like a fairy tale for adults with a lot of adult content, so that's one thing that makes it phenomenal. The characters in this are really interesting to read about. They're not very fleshed out characters, though they do go through some growth. It's just not a lot, but they're still fun to read about, and their adventures and journeys are really cool and fun. If you haven't seen the movie, I would recommend reading the book first and then seeing the movie, but the movie is also great. Just watch the movie, watch Stardust, it's really great. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, we've got Falling Into Place by Amy Zhang. Before I start talking about this book, I will say there is a trigger warning for suicide, depression, and bullying all in this book, so if those things are triggering to you, skip me talking about this book. This is another audiobook that I listened to. Got all them audiobooks up in here, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This was a book I talked about in my haul, just being extremely vague, and I'm glad it was vague, but also not necessarily. So I'm gonna give a little plot summary. If you want to skip past it, I'll keep my hand up and then I'll put it down when I'm just talking about like character characters and such. Here we go. Basically, this is like If I Stay but without the out-of-body experience. Liz Emerson has decided that she no longer wants to live. So it kind of goes like back in time to present time, seeing her friends and her family, to flashing back to things in her life. So it's definitely a lot like If I Stay, just not her watching it and narrated from her point of view. This kind of reminded me of Before I Fall in the fact that like the girl group was kind of a cliquey mean girl group, but I liked how it was done in this book more so than I liked it in Before I Fall. Before I Fall annoyed the crap out of me and I wanted to murder all the characters. I was like, all y'all, can you not? But this one, I feel like maybe it was because the characters had a lot more depth and had a lot more things going on in their lives, and their journeys just made more sense and were a lot more interesting. I don't know, something about it was a lot better than Before I Fall. Don't want to give anything away, but the narrator is a very interesting narrator. Super cool, super interesting. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The last 3 books I'm going to talk to you about are the last 3 books of the Seven Realms series. I have a love-hate relationship with reading a full series in a month and talking about later books in a series and wrap-ups, because it's like I can't really talk about the plot anymore because it'll spoil the first book if I talk about it. So I just keep rehashing the plot of the first book. Sorry about that, but there's not much else I can do. First up, we've got The Grey Wolf Throne by Cinda Williams-Chima. This was my least favorite out of the series, but it still got a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. If you don't know what the Seven Realms series is about, it follows 2 different main characters and then a load of side characters. One main character is named Han, and he lives in the slums of the kingdom. He spent a lot of his life either being a street lord or going back and forth between Marissa Pines and the kingdom. He just has a lot of interesting life experiences. The other main character is named Raisa. She is the princess heir, and she's also half clan, has a lot to learn about her kingdom before she takes over the throne. And there's just a lot of adventuring that goes on in this book, a lot of secrets and lies and things that they have to figure out. It's just pretty much everything you want in a fantasy book. You should read all of them because they're phenomenal. I will say, out of all of the books, The Grey Wolf Throne is probably the saddest. I was really emotional through the whole series, but this was the time that I was the most sad. Next up for me is The Exiled Queen by Cinda Williams-Chima, and then my most favorite out of the entire series is The Crimson Crown by Cinda Williams-Chima. Honestly, all of the characters go through so many things throughout this whole series, and they grow so much and are so dynamic and wonderful. Though I love a lot of things about the series, one of the things I love the most is the author's ability to take tropes and kind of turn them on their head, or like use a trope but make it make sense. I like can't talk about them because it's spoilery, but if you've read them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of tropes that I've seen people hate and dislike so much, but in these books it works and it's explained in a way that makes sense, and it makes me so happy. So happy. I love the characters, I love the world building, I love everything about the series. Just read it. Read the Seven Realms series. Read it. Read it. Read it. And that's it. Those are all the books that I read in the month of June. Let me know down below what your least favorite book you read this month was, something I can maybe avoid in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm going to be Maureen is unprepared as per usual. Fun fact, I can't hear out of this ear right now. I don't really know what happened. It's a good time, just not being able to hear. You should not be setting off fireworks. It's not even dark outside. What are you doing? The Goodreads app is so slow, guys. It's so slow.